So this is a video of my sim setup. I'll walk you through everything. So we got my monitors. I don't run triple screen. Use one screen for gaming, 144 Hertz. The other two are secondaries for displaying things like CPU information, Discord, OBS, chat, and various other programs. And a fan to keep me cool. On the side, it's my bike. Usually I take everything off when I'm just riding, but in foul weather, the rack's on and fenders. But anyway, let's check it out. Okay, so here's the rig. And it's sitting off to the side. So all I do is pull out my chair. And it's sitting right there, and I have it on floor dollies. So let's see if I can get it to show up here. So I have floor dollies underneath, then I have a 2x4 of MDF on top of that, nailed into the floor dollies. So it's basically a mobile floor, and then I just move it over. It's a little bit easier with two hands, but yeah. So now it's already ready to go. And then when I'm done, I just move it back towards the wall. Like that. And we'll move it back in. So how I have it set up is I have it with a couple U-clamps. One's right there, holding it in or onto the board. Another is right there, holding it on. So the frame is held on by the two U-bolts. And the wheel, or excuse me, the pedals. Fanatec Clubsport V3. Let me turn on the light. I usually use this light for my pedals because the webcam can't really pick them up, so I'll direct the light at them. Let's see, what else do we have? We have Buttkicker amp down there that I use for the Buttkicker. A car amplifier that I use for my 4 bass shakers. And I use the old PC power supply to power that. So I have that all set up. And then a couple cords running in to my sim platform. It's a power supply extension cord, 2 USB extension cords, and the Buttkicker cord. So let's see, we did the pedals. It's Fanatec Clubsport V3. You can look at them real quick here. I have the brake. Doesn't really show up, but see, the brake's at setting of 3. I have the black spring on the throttle, and the clutch, I just have the default red spring on there. So the brake doesn't go in too far, and I can still heel toe, no problem with the D-shaped pedals. And if you're wondering what this sock is, it's 2 socks filled with cat litter. And you're asking yourself, what the hell are you doing with that, right? Well, this is a regular car seat on my sim frame. And the Buttkicker is right underneath there. And it'll vibrate because it's on rails, so you can move it back and forth like you would a real car seat, and it does vibrate a little bit. So I filled a sock with cat litter, and it acts as a bean bag, and it stops it from rattling. It works out great. So should probably change it to a black sock so it doesn't look so weird. Okay. Then underneath, I bolted a piece of board to the bottom frame of my seat, and then I put a floor flange, or flange, I forgot what it's called. It's for piping. Bolted that, or screwed it into the piece of board, and then screwed a pipe into that, and connected the butt kicker to that, so it shakes the seat whenever I go over bumps and whatever I have it set to. So now let's go over, I guess, the seat itself. The seat's nothing special. The seat's actually not that comfy in my opinion for very long periods of time, so I did a couple things to it. I put a bottom seat cushion on there. Just helps out quite a bit after many hours. And then a backrest. The backrest actually isn't so much to help my back, but it helps with many hours and it being hot in here. It'll help with just sweat buildup and comfort. Because it's meshed back, it'll help quite a bit with that, as opposed to the pleather on the seat. And then we have the webcam up top of the seat. It's all black, it's hard to see, but that looks down into the cockpit, so you can see steering, and then you can see the dash meter. So the tablet is a Nook HD Plus. It's pretty old, but it does the job just fine for this. So the wheel is a Ferrari 599 Alcantara Evo. It's 30 centimeters with a flat bottom, and it has affixed paddles to the back. So if you don't see me using the H-box, I'm not using automatic, I'm using sequential paddles. The base is a Thrustmaster VG TX. It's for the Xbox One and PC. So let's go over on the other side here. And the great thing with this on wheels is I can just move it. Like, I can just push it away. I would really recommend setting up some kind of floor base to put your rig on. Oh, and of course the frame. It's a SimSeat frame. They don't make it anymore. All their new ones don't have a center post here. This is the only downside of this rig in my opinion. Otherwise it's great. It's been strong. No problems. But their new frames have they have two side posts that come up from left and right side, and then straight across to hold the wheel, so you don't get the center post in the way of your knees and legs, etc. So down here on the shifter panel, it originally came with just a shifter plate that's only so wide and so long, so I couldn't really accommodate my button box and handbrake and shifter. So all I did was I bolted a piece of board, just I had line around to it, and bolted the shifter to that, handbrake right next to it, and then the button box that I made is just clamped on to the board, because I can't figure out if I really want to just keep it there or not, so I haven't hard mounted it. I've just used a couple clamps to hold it on until I figure out if I just want to keep it there or not, and I'll screw it in. So then we have the side. Let me grab a light here. Okay. So then we have the side of my chair, and I have the extension cord coming to the back here for a power strip, for the USB hubs and the wheel itself. And then we have two USB hubs. This first one up here is for my cameras. This one here is for all the controllers. So let's see. Because quite a few games have issues with controllers or multiple inputs, it's nice for me to just turn them all on and off. And so far I haven't had any issues, thankfully, with the USB hub with any of my controllers. So this one I'll turn on. It's the Xbox 360 controller and an old USB joystick that I use for my button box. This one right here is for the handbrake and the shifter. So I can just turn it on, and this one's for the wheel and the pedals. You can just turn it on, should calibrate. And whenever I'm done, just turn them all off. And this one for the webcams, it just stays on the full time. I don't unplug it. And I just made some holes to route the cables through onto the platform, just so the platform itself doesn't have tons of cables on it. And then if we get down below, to show you the routing of the cables itself. And then this is the remote control for the butt kicker to change the intensity or the volume of it. So down below we have the floor, the base of the rig, nailed into the floor dollies, and then underneath I installed some hooks, and then I use these hooks to hold all of the cables. So I have in the front here some cables coming in, the extension cord for the power strip, the butt kicker cable, and then I have two USB cables, and then just the small speaker wires for my tactical transducers. So it's all routed fairly nice. They don't hang down, they don't get in the way of the wheels, so I can freely move them around. And holy crap, there's a cat. Hey, I'm doing a bit here. Hey, move. Okay. But over here, where everything's bunched up by the hub, it gets a little crazy. But they don't really hang enough to get caught. There's just so many cords right here. I haven't really bunched it up enough. But it's underneath the floor itself, so you can't really see it. So if you're looking in from here, it still looks relatively clean. Okay, what's left to show? We did the chair, the frame, the seat, the wheel. Let's see, back here by the pedals you can see the two front transducers. Maybe, I don't know. So these black shavings are from the bottom of my shoe, the sole, from the pedals, just from grinding many hours. So there's two black circles in there. I cut out the circles in the board, and those are the two transducers that I use for my pedals, or for my feet, so I can really feel it on my feet when I go over bumps and situations like that. Let's see, what else do we have? Here's the cords coming out from everything, so there's not too many. That's why I mounted the USB hubs in the back, because I didn't want so many cords coming out this way. So I only have a couple. I used a couple screws and a rubber band just to keep them in place, but still allow some flexibility in them to move around without it being too restrictive. And then here's the button box. Like I said, it was just a USB controller, PCB, and an old joystick that I use. I got from Goodwill for $5, so I just did some soldering. And I can use it for pretty much whatever, any game that supports multiple controllers. Not too useful for many, but games like iRacing where you can change a lot of things, and now Dirt Rally you can change cockpit view. So I just have a couple labels like, oh, it's not really showing up. Seat, up, down, back, forward, just your FOV in and out, starter and then ignition, and then up here you can just have it be, you know, various things, different displays on your screen, and iRacing lap times, relative position, etc., etc. And I think that's really it. The mount for my tablet is on the back side here. This piece of board is bolted to the metal plate that houses the wheel base, and it's clamped on there really tight. This clamp is just great for a tablet holder, and it holds it in. I can shake the whole rig, and the tablet like rarely ever comes out. So I think that's it. So yeah, besides the random sock that's just kind of chilling there, that's it. Shifter, handbrake, tablet, wheel, and then the monitors, and a fan to cool me off. And then when I'm done, just move the light back. Push the wheel back, set it against the wall, grab my chair, and the wheel fits right underneath the floor that I made, so I can just sit right back into my desk, no problem. So that's it.